Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited because my employee just got back from Paris where she was supposed to steal new designs and look, I just received the newest La Mode qui vient. And I'm super excited to see what trends French fashion has in store for us for the spring-summer season of 1936. I thought I'm gonna make a whole video like this, but I don't have the patience. So this is a catalog I received some years ago as a gift during one of my book signing meetups. And it was gifted to me by a lovely couple who said that they miraculously managed to save it from like a literal trash pile. So bless their hearts. Oh, you're not doing that now. It's kind of difficult to tell what... Oh, we're doing that. Okay. It's kind of difficult to tell what exactly this catalog was because the whole catalog is in French and it has little fabric samples next to the designs. And it also has a couple of drawings of patterns without the actual patterns. And then at the back of the catalog, there is a Polish logo that says Pieszy's Fabrics. So my theory is that maybe it was a catalog that the Polish shop had of the French fabrics they had to offer. But then why would you need the detailed drawings of designs, or why would you need the small drawings of patterns? So I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to be, but let's just have a look. Let's have a look at what French fashion had to offer back in the spring-summer season of 1936. We start off with pattern drawings for some of the designs. You can see that most of the dresses are modeled mostly by like side seams and some gatherings, but it's not super, like it's mostly one or two parts. But then it's also just simple drawings, so it might as well be more complex than what they're showing. Okay, first off we have this gorgeous coat, which is very cleverly accessorized. Note how the hat, the scarf and the handbag match the green detail in the wool, whereas the shoes are kept gray. And also note the neutral white gloves. There is also a variety of different color accents that you can choose from, and I don't know about you, but I think the green one is the one I like the most. Also note the fabric names because they're only getting started. They're gonna get much weirder than that. Next up we have a suit. It's a suit in a beautiful textured wool. And note how these are probably more for like the early spring because the wool is actually quite thick. And I'm also super obsessed with the color combination of like the subdued blue with the white accents. And even though it's called a suit, judging by the length of the jacket, it's probably actually a coat with a matching skirt. Next up we have the Wilka fabric. And again, the color combination is just so stunning, even though the actual fabric's color is a lot different than what they're trying to show. Also, may I draw your attention to the champignon shade of fabric, because who wouldn't want a mushroom-themed coat? Then we have this stunning yellow coat, and honestly, I may be biased, but I have a soft spot for yellow clothes, so I just love this one. And this is sort of where you see that all these drawings are actually hand-painted. This fabric is really thin, actually, for a coat, I think, which is interesting because coats are supposed to be warm, right? I am absolutely in love with this design. I would love to see it in the green color at the bottom though. I think it would look amazing. The next one isn't really my favorite because the fabric looks like my cat's vomit, but note how this one is a sport coat. And not only because they literally wrote it's a sport coat, but also you can see the low-heeled shoes. And mind you, back in the 30s, sports clothes usually meant something just more casual, but still very elegant. Like it wasn't literally clothes you would wear to do sports. Next up we have this beautiful green suit with a long jacket, which is taken at the waist apparently, according to the description, which I'm assuming they just mean the darts here at the waist. And you can also note how they used to enlarge the pattern on the drawing to make it more visible. Like the actual fabric pattern is, like the proportions are much smaller. It's just so we can see it better. And it's something that has been done a lot in this catalog actually. This one is interesting because it shows two different fabrics, like the top one is the jacket fabric and then the bottom one is the matching skirt fabric. And again, low-heeled shoes. This one is just so classy. I don't know, there's just something about like accentuated waist that immediately draws me more to the design. Definitely not my color though, even though the color palette is on point here. This one is fascinating because the fabric is just so silly and it seems so modern. And at least, you know, the fabric in the drawing, because the actual fabric, like the pattern is much smaller and it appears more faded too. But I just love the random green and red dots every now and then. Why not? I love how the fabric feels here. The pocklock fabric. It's just so thin and so light, and I imagine it would feel so nice in the summer even. And also, I like how one of the fabric shades is called burnt bread. I love how you can compare the fabric, like the drawn fabric, to the actual fabric here. Because it's just, I feel like they showed off the details really well. And the color palette, again, they had such good combinations of colors, like something that we wouldn't nowadays even dare to do. And oh my god, the shoes as well. The color of the drawing is a bit of a miss here, but I love the white details, you know, the color is insanely good. The shoes, the hat decoration, and even the sleeves, and I just noticed this zigzag trim as well, I didn't see that one before. Oh my god, this whole outfit, not to mention the fabric again, which is like super light and airy. Even the color, like that's definitely not something I would wear, like I would normally be wearing, but this color combination ate and left no crumbs. Oh, so good. Next up we have a dress with a cape, and what I love about this particular design is that you have, again, matching fabrics that are slightly different. Like the top one has those white threads and the dress fabric underneath doesn't have white threads, huh? Ever thought of that? I think it's a really nice touch though, like it's so fun. And then you have a random red scarf, which like if I would wear that, I would look like a Pinocchio, and here it just works so nicely. Like I don't know how they came up with the color combinations, they just knew what's right. I'm obsessed with this one because it's so 1930s. It's like the essence of 1930s. You know, you have the bow, you have the puffy sleeves, you have the buttons, you have the contrasting details. He's even smoking a cigarette and she's a redhead. It's so good. And also, who said redheads can't wear orange? Because apparently not this lady. She looks so cool. This one looks low-key like she's headed to her Scottish residence to chill with her husband who is a baron. Again, the fabric is surprisingly thin for this one, but then even though the color screams autumn to me, you know, it's a spring catalog, so it makes sense. This one is, again, so good. Not only because it's yellow, but it's just genuinely so much fun. It's such a fun dress. And I think out of all these, this one is definitely something I could see myself wearing on a daily basis. And also notice how the accessories are kind of all over the place color-wise, and it still kind of works. You have a green hat with a yellow detail, then you have a brown handbag and a brown belt buckle, and then you have white gloves and white brown shoes, and you have a polka handkerchief. How did they make it look good? You know, if I wear 5 colors at once, I look like a clown. Next up we have this super classy dress, which again was labeled as a sports dress, and I love how you can compare the drawing with the fabric here. Like, even though it's completely different, it kind of gives you the right idea of what the fabric actually looks like. This one has the craziest color, and a color too. Also pay attention to the detail in the gloves and like sleeves in general. I think this one is pretty cool when it comes to like geometrical shapes. This one is such a nice fabric and I wish you could feel it. It's just so light and thin. And it's quite stretchy too, so I imagine this would make a really comfy summer dress. The last thing we have are these 2 blouses, and not gonna lie, the way this fabric feels ain't it for me. Like, I think it's some sort of thin wool, which is described as angorette here, so I'm assuming it's like Angora wool, and apparently it was a novelty of the season, but like judging how crispy it feels, this trend probably did not last until next spring, to be honest. It's just, the blouses are nice though. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful display of fashions long past. I personally feel like making a whole 1930s summer wardrobe right now, even though I absolutely don't need any new summer clothes, but it's just, some of them are just, and I'm definitely inspired to like try out more risky color combinations, because if they could do it, why can't I, you know? Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you sometime.